Hi, I'm Amy Armstrong with the Historic Arkansas Museum, and tonight we will be at the Museum of Discovery Science After Dark program. The theme this month is birthdays, so we thought what better opportunity than now to make one of the first cupcake recipes printed in the United States. So today I have taken this recipe from 1798 and viands, fish, poultry, and vegetables, and the best modes of making pastes, puffs, pies, tarts, puddings, custards, and preserves by Amelia Simmons. The recipe that we have made is called a light cake to bake in small cups. So I have taken a ½ pound of sugar, a ½ pound of butter, rubbed into 2 pounds of flour, so that means basically just mixing it up. 1 glass of wine. So a glass, by the way, I believe would be a Jill, and this is a Jack. So I'm just guesstimating on a lot of these recipes. You just were assumed to know at the time what measurements and how hot the oven would need to be and how long it needed to bake. So big guess there. 1 glass. So the DO means also what, 1 glass of rose water. Rose water is basically water that smells like roses. It's pretty strong. I thought that was quite a bit, but we're going to be true to the recipe. 2 glasses of Emptins. So in 1798, when this recipe was written, baking powder and baking soda didn't exist. So there were a few ways that you could use, or a few methods you could use to make your baked goods rise. And so Emptins was basically the leftovers and the dregs of the process of brewing beer. And so that's what we used. Nice and lovely. It smells yeasty, but we're going to trust the process. Then it says a nutmeg, cinnamon, and currants. So we have mixed everything up. It was a little dry, so I added a lot of water.
That's really thick too.
It is really thick. I'm thinking I might add a little bit more water. And we're going to we're going to bake it in these are modern, so just little tins. And back in the 1700s and 1800s, they would have used little tins. They might have used just cups. Let me get a little cup. Might have baked it in a little cup. Or these ornamental little molds called patty pans or petty pans. So we're going to pretend that these are patty pans, and we're going to bake these up.
So how long do you think they might need to bake, and what's the oven temperature you're guessing?
We're going to just do 350 for 25 minutes, and then we'll come back and see what it looks like.
Excellent. Yeah. And when was this recipe printed?
This was printed in 1798.
So what kind of flavor do you think they might? You might have a flavor profile for.
So it's kind of like a spice cake, I'm thinking. Just basically spiced with or flavored with nutmeg, cinnamon, currants, rose water, and wine. I put a lot of cinnamon in because I thought, wow, that's a lot of rose water. It's smelling very floral, especially with that wine. And so as I mixed it, I just kept adding cinnamon. So it's probably going to be very cinnamony.
Would this be reserved for special occasions, or is this more like, could this be like, oh, it's a Sunday afternoon, let's bake?
Possibly. It seemed to me just like a little quick cake that you would whip up. Yeah, for they're definitely more intricate or complex recipes in here, but to me this seemed very easy, using things that you would have had on hand. So,
and looking at this, the recipe, is it hard to try to read it? I mean, the glasses, that looks like
gloufs.
Yes. Yeah.
How hard is it to kind of transcribe a recipe like this?
Well, this was printed when they still used an F for an S. And when I read it, I always feel like I'm using a lisp when I speak. Half pound sugar, you know. But the hardest part is not really, how hard it is to transcribe.
Like the cups, like you were saying, the cup sizes and the measurements and.
Yeah. So, if you have baked before, then you kind of know in modern terms, like what you would use and what consistency a cake batter would be, which I had to add a lot of water for that. Of course, this is also going to be kind of like bread because there's no eggs, there's no milk. Basically, when you look at the recipe, it kind of looks like a simple bread recipe because you've got your yeast, your sugar, then your spices. So kind of like a quick bread. I did not know if I should let it rise, but if it is a dud, we'll try it again and let it rise. Yeah. Then I was thinking, well, in modern cakes, we don't really let them rise. So I was going to go with that first, and we'll see how they look when they come out of the oven. So cross our fingers that we read it correctly.
Okay, and we will pop them in, and when they're done, we'll post the final product in the comments of this video so you guys can check it out. Thank you so much, Amy.
Okay. You're welcome.